Marketing Technology Specialist for the Triad, and this is the Real Realtor Life with Tony Jarrett.
Hello.
This is Tony, and he is the VP for the Triad and the High Country. Tell us about yourself.
I am the Triad region and the High Country region regional vice president. So I cover from, as I say, Burlington to Blowing Rock, from the main part of the Triad region up the mountain to almost into Tennessee. So that's about 350 agents in 13 offices.
Yep, really, really large region, and you work with all different kinds of people from all different kinds of cities, from a big city to a small town.
Right.
How do you manage such large teams across multiple counties?
Well, I would think the number one thing we do is hire great leaders and great staff like you. So one of the things that we really want to focus on is how do we get people to lead our team that make a difference. I will tell you that we want to stay ahead of the game. That there's so much change happening in our real estate industry and with the world. I mean, we had the pandemic 5 years ago. Now we have all the changes happening with the real estate. So one of the key things we want to do with our staff is just evolve and to stay ahead of so many trends. You know, agents have a tough job as it is to stay in flow with their clients. So we want to be able to help them take their minds off those things, let us lead through those things, help them, educate them, like you do such a fabulous job of education, that they can just, when they need it, they come to us. Other than that, let's help them, support them to sell and buy houses.
Yeah, that's really all of the staff's common goal, which is what I love about Allen Tate, is we do work hard to foster that culture of, if you need help, ask someone, speak up, and we're always willing to help. I know I try to tell people that all the time, and people will still say, I'm sorry to bother you, but my response is always, your questions and your need for help is my job security.
Bingo.
I need people to come to me so that I can, know how to help them and what to do. And I'm sure you get questions all the time. People probably have you on speed dial
every hour.
I'm sure.
And people walk in and go, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm like, you're not interrupted. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. If you didn't interrupt me, I wouldn't have a job.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're here for them. That's
right.
I think that really sets us apart from a lot of other companies. And I see that on a baseline.
Yeah.
When I onboard agents, I ask them all the time, if they came from a different company, what made you make this switch?
Right.
And a lot of times it is, the support that they find here is what they really, really enjoy about Allen Tate.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think it says a lot about the company as a whole.
Well, we're all connected.
Yeah.
And so we do have a lot of connectivity to help each other every day. And that's the culture we create.
Yep, I agree. How do you think top agents stay motivated and resilient when the market slows down or when listings get tight?
Well, I think the number one is know the market. Stay on top of the market. We do a great job, I think, of informing our agents of what's happening in the market. But when the market shifts, there's often a lot of opportunities. And what we're seeing right now is we're seeing a lot more listings come on the market. Competition is increasing. And so what we're seeing is our agents having to shift into a lot of different conversations to stay ahead and keep their confidence up. I'll give you one example. In the last 12 months, we are seeing most of our counties have reassessments of their value. The average across the Carolinas in 2024 was an increase of 61% of price. So a lot of people take a break and go, oh my gosh, that's more property taxes. Well, maybe, probably the outcome. However, on the other side, your asset is actually working. And maybe it's time to leverage that asset to do something different. So during times like this, when it feels like it's shifting in a negative way, it's actually some opportunities that we have to find to have our people coach them to talk to our clients in different ways. And I think right now the market is definitely shifting a lot every quarter, but I think our team has the confidence to say, all right, where are the opportunities?
Yeah. What do you say to agents who are struggling to find the communication styles needed in order to have these conversations with their clients?
Well, we keep it simple to just, when it's about the market, just to a few trends. But what we've done really well that you've coached agents on is how to do home physicals. how to go out and look at property values and how to stay on top of that trend for our clients. I think a lot of the communication is just staying in flow, whether that's social media, whether that's emails, whether that's text, whether that's phone calls. You know, everybody likes to be communicated differently, so our team just has to be able to be diverse in their communication style to reach our people.
That's right. Email marketing, print marketing, social media
Bingo.
To create familiarity
Bingo.
and recognition.
That's exactly.
And that trust as well. That's why
right.
Social media is, that'll be a topic later, but that's not an option anymore. And we just had the social media panel, and I think it went great. I loved it, and I got a lot of great feedback from it. I wasn't involved, but a lot of people really told me how much they enjoyed it and how much they learned from those agents.
Yeah, agreed.
Are there any daily or weekly habits you've observed in successful agents that others could adopt?
Yeah, I think what we're guilty of in our business is living in the transaction. Agents get very successful, and then the next thing you do, you're living in that transaction, doing all the things which we have to do and need to do, but you stop prospecting. After you have a big month of 4 or 5 closings, you stop and go, all right, who's next? But you haven't stayed in flow with anybody. So I think one of the critical things that we see our agents do that is really a good habit is staying in flow daily and weekly. I will give you an example. Our leader in High Point, Dawn Allred, has a great coaching that she does. Take 2 letters of the alphabet every week and just focus on get your phone, look at those 2 letters and look at those people and say, did I touch them? Did I talk to them? And every week and by every quarter, you'll touch your whole alphabet.
Yeah.
And keep it flowing. We need to stay focused, and we as leaders and staff can be accountability partners to our team. It is the biggest mistake I see of people just not staying consistent in their engagement with their sphere of influence.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are really focused on lead generating tactics when they can really start just in their own home and with the people they know, their family, their friends, acquaintances.
Bingo.
That's who already knows you, who has some sort of trust with you. If they speak to you, they know you.
I call them your cheerleaders. Who are your cheerleaders? And are you in flow with your cheerleaders?
Yep.
The people who know you, love you, and like you. You know, want to do business with you.
Yep, I agree. What tools or systems are top agents leveraging right now to scale their business?
Well, I call it the marathon versus the dash. The marathon is the CRM. We use a product called Moxie Engage. As long as you're staying in flow with that every week, and going back to that alphabet, if you're putting that in every week, Moxie is now using artificial intelligence to tell you when your buyers and sellers are showing signs of looking at property or have interest. And so if you're watching it every day, you're going to know when your folks are looking. And I know that's the same with some other techniques like social media, etc. But Moxie is the marathon because you got to do it every week. We have some what I call the dash that are very easy and run. One is Real Scout. Real Scout is an email alert system that tells me when properties hit the market, when they change their price. I bought a second home recently in the last couple of years, and I found that property through Real Scout. I got an email and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that might be the house I'm looking for. And so it keeps us top of mind. I subscribe to about every region just to stay top of the market. But boy, do we have our clients who love that product simply because it pushes stuff to them. Another technique we have is jumbo postcards that we use through Quantum Digital. A lot of our agents mail those around all the areas they're working. And I think we sent over 1 million of those last year. And people love to know what's going on in their neighborhood. I get them from our agents in my neighborhood. I like to know what my neighbors are doing.
Yeah.
I like to know the price they're selling it for. It just keeps me relevant to what I'm doing. But those are some tools that I see our agents using very effectively.
Yep, and I especially like the analytical feature on Real Scout, similar to ActivePipe, another email marketing tool that we offer for agents.
Exactly.
And I feel like not enough people are using that and taking advantage of it because you can see thoroughly who is looking at your emails, what are they clicking, what are they interested in, and those are extra points of contact that you can make with those people. So just using our tools that we already have is, I think, the number one thing to do to keep in touch with our people.
To your point, if you keep watching them the open rate, that's showing engagement that they want to talk. So I agree 100% with you.
That's what I use for my communication forum. I make sure that I am getting to all of these agents. I can see if somebody unsubscribed, and I mean, besides that, I just like to see who is interacting, who is interested in the things that I'm offering, and I can help them that way.
There you go.
They're probably not going to ask me a question, but I can definitely take that action.
That's right.
Yep. That's the whole point, I think.
Well, I think the word I would use to your description is intentional. We have to be very intentional with this.
Yes. Yeah. How important is personal branding or social media presence for agents today, especially in a competitive market like in the Triad?
Well, as you and I have both said it, social media is no longer an option. I mean, social media to me when I started was just something that you did at night when you went home and you just scrolled and scrolled and scrolled and just, it was watching people to see what they were doing in their lives. Today, there are really three reasons why agents must be in social media. Whether you like it or not, it is a billboard, and that billboard is branding, and that people are driving by your billboard 4 to 5 times a day at a minimum, and you want them driving by your billboard. The second reason is because your clients, your sphere of influence, today they're on it too, so that means the flow of communication might be a lot more direct messages in Facebook than there are text messages, because people want to stay in flow. And then the third is, when I see you consistently and I see your brand over and over, I start trusting you. And that is lead generation. Because I have seen some billboards that I've gone by and I'm like, I want to stop by that store. I want to stop by that business. It's the same thing, and it's a lead generation. So now, all that sounds great, but you must be consistent on it. You must be in there every week. You must be giving us relevant content, and you must, versus posting on Monday and I don't see you again for 2 more weeks. That's actually the worst thing you could do. But it is a differentiator in our world of marketing today, and I encourage every agent to really revisit their social media. And the last thing I'll tell you about this is your profile, because consumers are out there searching for businesses, and if I can't find you, I can't find your phone number, I can't find an email address, I don't know how to reach you, again, not a good thing. And so it's that billboard I need to know how to connect with you. So your profile should be up to date, and 2, needs to tell a story. Why should I do business with you? And that is something every agent really needs to embrace differently today.
I would agree with that. I find myself searching for the businesses or services that I need on Instagram or Facebook. And I don't look them up on Google. I don't even look them up. I mean, it depends. I might use ChatGPT, because who doesn't? But I really go to Instagram and Facebook first, because I can recognize and I can feel like that might be something I need or that I want to use and compare a lot easier. And if it's a profile that is post once a week, I'm not really that interested. And so it's really true.
But your point is so well made, especially with the searching. And hashtags is a lost art. And I know people are searching hashtags on Instagram probably more than they're searching Google, which is what you just said. And so you need to know your audience, but are you using hashtags, and are you using it for a search reason? You post good content, but you want to be found, so add the hashtags on it as well.
How do you see AI or tech continuing to impact the real estate space, and what should agents be doing to stay ahead of that curve?
Well, I think ChatGPT, if you haven't downloaded the app, do it after this call, after this video. It's a game changer for marketing. So I don't know if you are like me, you'll read posts and you're like, oh, that could have been a lot better. A little bit. So I would encourage people to start talking. I know this sounds silly, but talk to ChatGPT, put your stuff in there, especially on marketing, and say, don't let ChatGPT write your ad, but put your ad in and say, please help me improve it. And by the way, I don't know why I just made it silliness, but I'm very kind to ChatGPT. I use the word please, I use the word thank you. And I have a conversation with ChatGPT. Now it actually has a flow of my content. And when I put stuff in, ChatGPT's even said, oh yeah, your post last Friday was really good. Let's add this element to it this week. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's really good. I want it to use my words, but it improves. So English, the English language, when it comes to reading, we all can be better. It can be improved, and it can be concise. And I think ChatGPT can clean up your words to help you. And I think that's one of the strongest things I've seen that's come out of it. I'm not so far into all the photo editing that ChatGPT does. There's been some problems with that I've read. I've tried to stay away from the photos. I think we should edit our photos, but I do that myself. But I think the ChatGPT is more on the English vocabulary than it is the photos for what I've seen.
Yeah.
How about you? What have you seen?
Well, to begin with, I started by using it to correct my grammar, and, fix my sentences, punctuation, those kinds of things. And the more I used it, the more I did speak to it like I was speaking to a friend, which is kind of weird to say, but now ChatGPT will respond and say, girl. Just call me that. So it's kind of funny, but it is, it does pick up on how I speak, and I wouldn't speak to that like that to an agent, of course. It
hasn't said to me, boy.
Boy. No. But it does, just pick up on that. And now I use it specifically to onboard agents, and I help them create their biography, because sometimes they get so caught up, especially a brand new agent.
Right.
Does not know what to say about themselves. They've never written a biography before, and they can spend, if I don't get on them, about 2-3 weeks on a biography. And this is something that should have been done quickly. It's better to have it finished. We can tweak it later. We can add on to it later, but we need something done right now. And ChatGPT will help them with that. And I tell them, don't take it word for word. Write something about yourself, or ask it to ask you questions of what should be included in that biography, and then we can put stuff together, use your language. It should still sound like you, depending on how you want to portray yourself, first person, third person, so it helps with things like that. But besides that, I talk about this a lot, but I use ChatGPT to create my workout plan and my meal plan, and I gave it my stats, I gave it my goals, I gave it prompts like I want a protein goal, a fiber goal, a calorie intake limit, and this is the timeline. That's what I attribute my weight loss to.
Really?
Yes.
That's a fabulous story.
Yeah. And I've lost, not to brag, I've lost about 40 pounds following that plan. And then, of course, my boyfriend has helped me. He is in the gym all the time, so he is my accountability partner. But I started following that ChatGPT plan, and
how about that?
It works. It really works. So
it can be used for so many things. We're having a social in 2 weeks in the High Country region, and I've got 70 people coming.
Wow.
So I went to ChatGPT and I said, help me pick out how much wine, how much water, how much beer, how much soft drinks, what do I need? And it started giving me a list of things.
Yep.
So you start thinking, oh, I need some help. It becomes very, very effective.
Yeah, it makes my grocery list.
Yeah, how about that?
It helps me cook my meals, and I mean, it's very useful when you're using it for the right things, I guess.
Well, and I think, the world is, some people have a very negative view of ChatGPT, and I get it. Don't want to replace human beings, don't want to replace jobs and things of that nature. But it's the technology that you want to lean into to make your life better, to become more efficient, and that's what we have to see some of this technology for.
Yeah.
So I just try not to be negative in the sense of just help me be better. And clearly it's helped you become a better human being, is what you just described.
I think so. I definitely think so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but it works.
It works.
Yeah. All right. So have you seen a shift in what success means for agents over the past few years? And how do top agents define success now? Well,
I do think that it kind of echoes what we talked about earlier. The shifts I'm seeing is mostly social media with our agents and marketing. So marketing has shifted from a decade ago of so much print. Then we started going to online, and now online shifting to social media. And I think the biggest shift I'm seeing right now is video. Just like we're doing right now. I will tell you that we have many agents who will not do what you and I are doing right now, because I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. I don't want to ever see myself on a camera. Well, I kind of feel that way some days too, but you just have to let go of it, because we are our brand. We are who we are. And I think we are trying to change a lot of perspective of agents, just to say, just let it go, lean into it, make a video, learn from it, and post it. And people like you, and they like to see you from time to time. That's been the biggest shift I've seen in a long time, and it's evolving right now.
Yeah, I think people really get caught up in their own head and that fear of putting yourself out there. But the way I think about it, people know me, people see me. The way I see myself on camera, that's how they see me now.
Bingo.
That's how they see me in person, and they like me in person. What is the difference?
That's right.
Honestly.
That's right.
The difference is I can see myself. I can watch and hear myself, which I don't typically tune into in person, unless there's a mirror and I'm looking over at the mirror.
Well, and one technique, if any of you just don't like to do this, is maybe instead of sending a text, don't do it social media. Just, you're going to send a text to somebody, film yourself and send it that way. I've seen a couple agents do that. Start with your family. Start with your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, whoever, your spouse. Hey, just checking in. How you doing today? Just try that and get comfortable with it, and then go to a social media outcome.
Yep.
But just send a video.
Yep.
And it's no different from FaceTime. Most people FaceTime. So just lean into it a little differently.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's all mental. It's in your head, honestly. What advice do you give agents struggling to find traction after their first year?
Well, this is one of the big challenges when you come into sales like what we do, a 1099, as you will. It's tough. So a few things. One is you need to give yourself 12 to 24 months. So before you enter this business, if you're thinking about it, do it with a savings account so that if you come into this business going, I got to make money in the first 30 days or I'm out, you're probably going to blow up and bomb.
Yeah.
And so give yourself time on that. Two is we don't know when your first transaction is going to happen. I've seen agents get the first transaction in the first month. I've seen some agents who have taken 9 months to get a transaction. Both of those examples, those agents are still successful today. But why did it cost one to get it 30 days and another 9? I have no idea. And sometimes it's luck of the draw, sometimes it's the flow, but give yourself time. Second is that this is just me, you need to come in the office. Mm-hmm. I call it the osmosis effect. You learn a lot by being with other people, hearing their conversations. You pick up business that way. And I would encourage you to shadow people. We're trying to get our agents, newbies, to go with an experienced agent on an open house. Not just watching them talk to people. How do you set up an open house? How do you effectively have a good open house? Go to a listing appointment. Go to a buyer presentation. Go look at properties with a top agent. Just learn through that osmosis and shadow somebody for a while. If you're new in the business, I would get rid of all that PB status. I'd get all those classes out of the way, because if you jump in the business and then get successful and you got to stop to go do that, not a good experience for most. Mm-hmm. And then just build that Moxie Engage like we talked about, or CRM, whatever CRM you're using, and stay in that marathon and stay in that dash and stay in it. And last but not least is staying in flow weekly. And you mentioned it earlier about accountability. I think if you can get an accountability partner to help you stay on track, our branch leaders are really good at helping agents with business planning. Build a business plan and then stay true to that plan, but you need to look at it every quarter to tweak it and just evolve it. Yeah. But it's not one thing, it's like multiple things to become very successful in this business.
Yeah, and I'll say something about coming into the office every day. I would encourage the same thing. Agents need to be in the office. Conversations happen. Right. There are learning experiences that are unexpected. I mean, there's workshops, there's meetings and all that stuff. But besides that, you just learn from listening to other people's conversations. Right. And asking those questions, especially if it's something that you don't have experience on. Now you have familiarity at least. Yep. And that's how I learned a lot. I still have my license and it's still active, and I'm going to keep it because once you get it, you don't want to lose it ever. Yep. But when I started, I was in the office every single day, especially, right here or over there at the front desk. And I got my first client from a referral from Mark Buchanan.
One of the agents.
Yes, mm-hmm. And he's great, but I wouldn't have gotten it if I wasn't in here, because it was just us two in the office at the time. Yep. He had a seller and a buyer wanted to purchase that property. He was only representing the seller, so he passed it on to me. If I hadn't been there, I wouldn't have gotten that sale.
How about that? And
that's kind of how it started, but those opportunities come because people know you. Yep. They trust you. They're not going to send you a client if they can't trust you, if they don't know how you work, your work ethic and your communication styles. So that is very important. I think people forget about that. Everybody's so caught up on working from home because I can be alone, but community is important.
That's the concern I have. And it's the pandemic changed the world. We became too virtual. Now, when we say come to the office every day, I probably think you and I both agree, you can come 3 out of 5 days. That's better than not coming in at all. Yeah. Just get in here and stay in. And there are certain times that your offices that you have flow, that you have a lot of people, activity. Well, I want to be there during those times. Yeah. But you said it best. You were the only other agent here, and you picked up a lead because you were here. Mm-hmm. It's an art form that I think is missing in our world right now.
People still call the office. People will still walk into an office. You just have to be there. It's honestly just chance. Sometimes.
That's right.
Yeah. So, what's one piece of advice you wish more agents actually followed through on?
Well, I think consistency is probably the number one thing. We've defined the word called high gain. There's the whirlwind and there's the high gain. They're both important, and all of you know what the whirlwind is. You come to the office to do one thing, you have a meeting that day, and the whirlwind picks up, and you get distracted with all these other things, and you don't get to the one thing that you came to the office to do. Well, whirlwind is important, but it's the high gain that really moves the needle. So my advice to every agent is stay true to your high gain every week. And if that's calling a few people, then put it in your calendar and hold yourself to an appointment to yourself if that's the high gain. But you need to stress yourself, I've got to do this no matter what the whirlwind is. I got to do the whirlwind, but I must do this. And there's some theories that people like to do certain things in the morning or midday or evening. I've heard this recently. One of people in our leadership team says, own the day. And that's resonated, meaning you own the morning and the rest of the day is easier. Mm-hmm. But if you wait and do all these other things, and then you're at 1 o'clock going, all right, well, I got to get to this, I got to get to this. Your whole day's thrown in a loop. So start your day right, whatever that day is, and to get your mindset right.
Time blocking.
Time blocking is critical.
Use that calendar for yourself, honestly.
Bingo.
Yep.
Bingo.
Yep.
And you need that time.
Yeah. If you don't time block, I feel like you get caught up in the whirlwind, honestly, and those tasks that must be done weekly just get pushed to the side or to the end of the week, and by the end of the week you've forgotten half the people that you need to talk to and what you need to talk to them about.
That's correct.
You need to prioritize those things. What is a success story from your region that really stands out to you and why?
Well, I think I'll tell you a quick story on this, and that is in this office, who draws me is Hannah Hunt. Hannah joined our team 5 years ago during the pandemic. When she joined, I remember, is when the pandemic hit. And so there was almost about 2 months where the world stopped. And I remember Hannah telling me that what I'm going to do is call 10 people a day. And she lived by that, and she was consistent with it. Now, I call 10 people today. Well, the first 3 take an hour, and maybe I don't get to 10. Maybe I call 5. But she stayed true to calling everybody. Boy, did she move the needle when the market came back, because she had stayed so consistent with that flow. And then she's evolved into the same concept on social media. Well, in 5 years, we have about 2,000 agents. She's become top 150. And that top 150 does a lot of business, and she's in that, but it was her consistency of time blocking, what you described, and making sure that I stay in flow with at least 10 of my cheerleaders, whatever your number is, every day. And you saw the results with what she built.
Oh yeah, I mean, I hear about them, I see them. Everybody knows Hannah Hunt because she is so active on social media and in her community. Yeah. She is there in person all the time, and she's happy to see everybody. And I think a lot of people can learn a lot from her.
That's right.
She was my first guest on this podcast, and I loved it. She always has the best advice to share, and she's not afraid to share her success. She's really not.
That's good.
So I like that about her. Yeah, well, I love her. I think you know that.
I will tell you that we have so many success stories, but every agent who has made that top 150, which becomes a goal for people, is work ethic. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. These are the folks I see in the offices consistently. These are the ones I see in the community. You mentioned that. They sponsor things. They get involved. I see them hosting events. They're the ones who stay in flow with our team. They come to our meetings. They stay in flow with the changes when they need to be there. But there's so many. But Hannah's a great success story. But I think if you stay in flow, work ethic, and really stay a team player, I think you really have a good shot at being that top 150.
Yep, I think so. So looking ahead 5 years, what skills do you think agents will need to master in order to stay relevant and competitive?
It's value proposition. Can you communicate your value proposition? So our real estate industry's changed a lot in the last 2 years. We've gone through a settlement. The National Association of Realtors was sued. What came out of that settlement, we removed all commissions in the MLS system. And so there were some fundamental changes that happened, but what really happened for us is it made us better. The lawsuit was around transparency. So one of the outcomes is our team got very transparent with, and I think we already were, but we got better at it, to talk to a buyer, to talk to a seller and say, this is why you want to work with me. This is the process that I'm going to take you through. And these are our fees. This is the expense it's going to cost. I think what it did is it made people want to work with us even more. And so I think over these next few years, we've got to get better and better and better at that, because for some people, it's a shock to the system. They're like, wait a minute, I got to pay you? You didn't tell me that. I thought the seller paid me that. That's what's really reinvented itself. And so being able to, and I'm going to say it this way, show more, tell less. We have to show people the value. We have to show people the transparency. We have to show people what the outcome is. And I think there were some times in our industry before that some people didn't know until closing. And now we've reversed that, so you know everything before you even get in my car. And that's a big shift. And I think showing people that value is a real strong skill set for our team.
I agree. I would definitely agree. I think that transparency makes a world of a difference for the client, because real estate is very complicated.
Yes.
And anything can really happen. I mean, there's veteran agents that still deal with brand new situations because it's just always changing. The laws are changing.
Yep.
Regulations, zoning, city limits, whatever. Everything is changing in real estate all the time. And I feel like that's why clients may not really understand the value that an agent brings until that transparency is presented to them and they really see and understand what the process is going to look like. And that communication is important.
Right. Well, and to add on to your complication, which complex is another word, is the average buyer today in this market only buys and sells once every 10 years. So think about what you just said of the complication. How many changes has happened from 10 years ago? I mean, we just talked about the changes we just went through 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so when a consumer comes to you, they probably haven't bought or sold anything in 10 years. So that value proposition and that transparency is even more critical today, just based on consumer behavior.
Yeah, I agree. There is value in real estate. There is value in realtors.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for myself, this role? Anything that I can learn from? Which I know I can learn a lot from you, but anything?
Keep doing what you're doing. 2, you've grown so much, which I've seen, and just being proactive, being engaged with people, and showing value. Just kind of what we talked about with realtors showing value. You're showing value. Our team has to be very valuable to our team. And so I can't thank you enough for what you're doing. Just keep growing with us. We love you being here.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for coming. I really enjoyed this interview. I think people are going to learn a lot from this, and who knows, we might do this again next year. Things are going to change, obviously. We'll have new advice, new trends, new things to learn from. So thank you so much for coming. I enjoyed this.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for you guys tuning in today.
So this was the Real Realtor Life with Tony Jarrett. Thank you for watching.